Hey, everybody. Good evening, Eva. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Welcome in. Welcome in, everybody. We're going to get a really, really good amount of people in the room tonight. I am co hosting a live with Cold Case Psych in regards to the Scott Peterson case and what I learned about from his estranged sister. So, this is going to be a good one, guys. Please share out the live. If you're not following me already, please follow your host. My name is Jojo, and this is Talking with Jojo, where we go over what's really going on, guys. So come on in. Nice to see everybody here. Welcome, welcome. Please join my team, Daily Heart Me's and Team Bracelets. Get me pushed up to the FYP. I appreciate all of you coming in. And I am going to thank you for the follow. I am going to invite CCP up now, guys, so let's do it. All right, we just invited her.
My co-host is here. Hey.
Hi.
Hi. I'm so sorry. I thought we're both on the same standard time, whatever.
I thought you were an hour behind me, so I'm like shoving pizza. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I gotta get on there.
I was just bringing people up. We were talking about the documentaries, and the fact that he had a map quest to Amber's work was one of the things that was found in that car. And I said, I'm not saying I'm a relationship expert, but I'm kind of thinking when she testified against him, that's kind of breaking up. I don't know why he would have a map quest to her office months and months later, unless he was planning on Amber's. To Amber's friend. That was found.
Amber Fry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot that we didn't know. A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So you've read the book. I have not. What's going on with that? Bring us up to date.
Okay.
If you guys would just tap on the screen for me, follow my co-host.
Everybody, please do the same and follow my co-host as well. There's over 448 of you in the room, and I appreciate you all. Thanks for coming in. So please keep tapping. Please do all the things. Send a heart me. Join our teams. I love working with CCP on stuff like this, so I was really excited that she was available tonight to do this.
Oh, I know. I felt the same way. I was like, yes, we can finally do something together.
Thank you, Haley X. I appreciate you. Yeah. Okay. So, do you know who Ann Byrd is?
I know. I'm familiar with some of the things that she has said. I'm familiar with what he did while he was there, that it caused problems with her and her husband. Well, not really caused problems, but her husband didn't like him at all. I know about him chronically downloading porn and drinking. And then I know she was given up for adoption by his mother.
Correct.
And I know that he stole keys from her and went to her parents' house and hid out for a little bit while they were on vacation. But that's kind of it.
Okay. Well, she writes a whole book about, her past with the Petersons. And as you know, she was adopted. She actually had another brother who was also adopted. His name was Don. Don was the initial person that contacted her and set her up with Jackie Peterson. So that was how she got to know Lacey and Scott. So apparently they had a very close relationship throughout the marriage. They would vacation together, spend holidays together. She loved Lacey. So thank you, Thrill Cats. So, it was really, really an interesting relationship, but she has outlined 33 reasons why she feels he's guilty. And I did a live last night about this, and there was a lot of people that were really kind of surprised by what they heard. A lot of them had never knew of Ann. And you know what? My first question to you, CCP, is did I miss something in either documentary? Because I don't ever remember her name being mentioned. The two new ones.
Nope.
Why do
I
you
don't
think
remember
that
her name
is?
being mentioned either. I'm not sure. Well, obviously, in he's not going to do anything. The one on Peacock, I don't. He's not going to do anything except make himself look wonderful. I'm not sure why she wasn't. I'm not sure why they didn't
Thank you,
have
Cake
her
Lady.
speak in the
Yeah.
Netflix one.
Yep.
If everyone coming in would just please tap the screen, send the daily heart me's if you can, follow my co-host, do all the things, I would appreciate it. It helps push us up the FYP.
Thanks,
Okay, go ahead.
everybody. I appreciate y'all. Please keep tapping the screen. Thank you so much. So, okay, there's a couple of things that
Thank you so much.
happened since you know the crux of the story. I'm not going to go into it again. I just want your reactions because there's a couple of things that happened that I found in the book that I never knew about that I thought you would find really interesting. So at one point, Anne takes her children with Scott to Disneyland. Okay. Lacey is missing.
Oh, brother. Okay.
And this is reason number one. On our last day at Disneyland, when Ryan went missing and everyone panicked, Scott stayed on his cell in his own world, total disconnect. So apparently her 3-year-old son, I guess, ran away from mom and dad or got off at the wrong exit of a ride or something and was missing for a few minutes. And Scott, rather than panic and start looking for his nephew, was on his cell phone.
Well, that could actually be used to his defense or against him. I mean, to me, most people, especially if it's a 3-year-old, you'd be in a panic looking for them, terrified. I think that would be my worst nightmare, especially someplace like Disneyland where it's so huge.
Yep.
It just goes to like his narcissism. It's all about him and what he's feeling. But I think in his defense, he could always say that he just doesn't show his emotions well or doesn't, stress under pressure. And that's why everyone misunderstood him. Yes, just Jen said that is a normal reaction, then disconnecting. Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Chloe on the clock, for the share. I appreciate it. Thank you, Trudy, for the heart me. I appreciate you. Okay. I mean, I guess you're right. It could go either way. But to me, it's kind of like your sister's running around all upset and you're on the cell phone with somebody who she thinks might have been Amber.
Oh, probably. Yeah.
A little suspicious, if you ask me.
Yes, exactly.
Yep.
Okay,
ready for
narcissism because it's. Yep, go ahead. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Thrill. Thanks, Christine.
Yep. Thanks, everybody who's in the room. Please keep sharing out the live. Daily Heart, Me's and Team Bracelets get me moved up on the FYP. Please join our teams, myself and my co-host, Cold Case Psych. We like working together. So do you want me to read the second reason or did you want to speak a little more about the narcissism?
No, go right ahead. I do too. Two Wins. Two Wins says they haven't read the book, but they're looking forward to learning about it. Yeah, me too. I haven't read it either, but I did just order it on Amazon. So
Got
go
you.
right ahead.
So, okay. Actually, number 2 and number 3 tie together. While at Tommy's christening, who is Ann's other son, on January 12th, 2003, Scott sat and held Tommy either the entire time. Scott sat and held Tommy the entire time and looked uncomfortable. The rector seemed to get a bad feeling about Scott, like he knew something or wasn't buying it. Scott upgraded his corn channel later that day.
again, I don't know. I would be really curious. To me, Scott likes himself more than anyone else, including children. I mean, who doesn't love children, especially cute little kids? And when they're not yours, especially, it seems like you can be a little bit more relaxed. You can, I don't know, like you want to play the great uncle, the doting uncle. That's the fun part, spoil the kids and send them back home to their parents. And he's not showing from anything that I've seen any kind of attachment to a child at all. So I'd be really curious how he was with Amber's daughter, because according to her, he was wonderful with her daughter.
Right.
So
Thank you for the follow, Katie. I
yes,
agree.
Ruby, I agree. If you're not following me, please follow me, and I will follow you back after the live. Follow my co-host here. This is Talking with Jojo. We're discussing the book Blood Brothers about Scott Peterson, written by his stepsister or half sister. Is it half sister?
Half sister. Yeah.
Please tap the screen, follow, like, share, do all the things. If you're a gifter, send the daily heart me's or help me reach my live goal. Go ahead, Joe. Okay.
Same
so
thing.
I don't
Everything that CCP just said, I'm just going to say ditto. Do the same thing. Thank you so much. Thanks for the wave. Hi, Katie. Okay, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, this is a woman that Scott spent an exorbitant amount of time with since Lacey went missing. I believe her.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she's lying. She's got nothing to gain by lying. And I want to know why she's not included in any of these documentaries, unless she has said, I bowed out, don't bother me. The last interview I saw with her was on Extra, which was about 2 years ago when they, it said 2 years ago, when they overturned his deconviction to a life conviction. Yeah. So that was the last interview I saw. But then she says something else that's really interesting. And I know you and I have both watched these at some point. Number 4, in interviews with Gloria Gomez and Diane Sawyer, Scott said Lacey knew about Amber. No way she knew he was having an affair. No way she would have put up with it.
Right. I think he's full of crap too. I don't believe there's no way. And him to say she was okay with it. Like, I told Lacey and she was okay with it. Oh, really? An 8-month-old pregnant woman is going to be okay with that.
Exactly.
Why?
Exactly. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate you. Yeah. Exactly.
Please tap the screen, guys. Please help push us up the FYP. Yes, she would not be okay with that too when said agreed.
Any comments on my chat, on my side, guys? Please keep the chat moving. It's a lot of good information. Especially now that the LA Innocence Project has taken on this case. In reading this, it helps me kind of reaffirm my original belief, guilty as charged. And that, again, that's my own belief. But I'll tell you a little more because it gets even more interesting.
Okay, no, keep going. Okay. Agreed, Scola.
On Ryan's
third birthday, for me, guys.
Which is her son, Scott stayed with us. He had just returned from his P.O. box in Modesto and had hate mail with him. There was a praying mantis on one letter, and another had a birthday cake picture with the 3 candles, and it said, "Happy birthday, Ryan." Oh, Christine, thank you for subscribing. Oh, thank you. This made me scared, and I do not know where it came from or how anyone else would know about Ryan's birthday. So these are like anonymous letters. Also, there was a letter, the one he thought was from the Rocha family, Lacey's family, that was definitely an unaliving threat. He seemed to be able to joke about it.
Thanks, Two Wins. course he could. Because he's not, again, he's just completely incapable of understanding anyone's pain. As far as the birthday, that I guess that would kind of freak me out a little bit too. If someone knew that it was my son's birthday and he was staying with me, unless it wasn't meant for that, unless it was meant more as a Lacey, Connor, and Scott happy birthday, meaning it was more directed towards that. The fact that, Connor was never going to be born. I don't know. That was my first thought when you were reading it. But then I thought, well, if she was concerned about it, then I'm sure that it was probably geared towards her son. So that would make me very uncomfortable, of course.
Yeah.
And again,
absolutely.
him joking about it.
Absolutely. Yep.
Thank you, everyone, for typing. Thanks for the daily heart me. Thanks, Amber. Thanks for the gifts,
thanks
guys.
everybody
I
for
appreciate
the
it.
follows and the gifts and the heart me's and the subscription. I appreciate all of you. Okay, number 6, Scott partying, celebrating while Lacey is missing. A lot of carrying on the entire time I was with him. So basically, throughout the book, she talks about how they would go places, he'd be drunk. And he would always try and hit on whoever he could in the room. And that was going on for a lot of the time that, he was staying with them. So it's
Wow.
a little suspicious, just a little bit.
Scott really likes himself, and he holds himself in very high regard, I believe. And yeah, and and I'll play devil's advocate a little bit here, because just so the whole entire room knows, I do not by any means even think he is the slightest bit innocent. I 100% believe he's where he should be. However, just to play devil's advocate, a lot of people turn to drugs and alcohol when they are going through traumatic experiences. I know working with family members of unsolved unalivings, I've watched people become full-blown alcoholics. I've watched people just do whatever they can to numb it. And even the promiscuous behavior, from a psychological standpoint, he could dismiss that as being traumatized, but not the normal caring individual. Like the normal person would not do that. It would be more of an excuse.
Thank you, Artist League. Yeah. Okay.
I agree, Scola. Exactly. Thanks to everyone tapping, gifting, subscribing, doing all the things. Please follow my co-host if you're not following her already. She does true crime, everything. And I love to collab with her.
Culture justice, that's my niche. And I love doing stuff with CCP. We get a lot. Not only do we get along really well, but we share a lot of the same opinions. And it's nice that, even though we really don't disagree, if we did disagree, we would respect each other about it, because it would be very rare that it would happen.
Yep. Zahar, it is a book about Scott Peterson. I have someone in the chat asking what Blood Brother is. It is a book about Scott Peterson written by his half-sister. And Talking with Jojo here just finished it, and she's giving us the highlights of the book and what his half-sister has to say. And it says 33 reasons why Scott Peterson is guilty. Hi, Sid. Go ahead, Joe. What's next? This is interesting.
Hang on one second. I'm hearing that nobody can chat because it says it's on sub only. I just had to turn it off. All right, Christine, I just turned it off. Thank you.
How do you turn that off?
You just go in.
Joe, how do
you go into where was it? You go into subscription.
Okay.
And you turn it off. So where was I?
Sub only space.
Yeah.
I don't have an option. It just says subscribers are waiting for your first thread. I don't know what that is. Sub only
Yeah,
off.
I'm
Oh,
still
okay.
working
Sub
on
only
my
live off.
subscription stuff and the Discord and all that. I'm still learning all of it. I'm actually taking a course
Me
tomorrow
too.
at Jojo because it's a lot.
Me too.
Okay.
And I haven't had a chance to get in there. Someone else told me that last night they tried to jump on my live and it said subscription only. And I'm like, I don't do subscription only lives. So that's why I wanted to check it while we were on here. But
Oh yeah,
right,
totally,
Skull, I
totally get
agree.
it. Thanks,
Please tap
Christine.
the screen for me, guys. Thanks, Sid.
Guys, please
If you're a
continue
gifter,
to
help me
tap the
reach
screen
my
for me as
goal.
well. Over 100 people in the
Send the
room.
daily
So
heart me's.
exciting.
Yep.
Thank
No,
you
it'll
all
get
so very
bigger.
much. Okay. Now,
Yes, thank
reason
you.
number 7. We still got lots more.
It's good.
When he was at our
Good
house,
content.
I know, right? No, I can't, Abuzar. I cannot. You cannot co-host with me. Sorry. One of my friends has asked me to co-host, and I just had to decline it. Okay. When he was at our house and the news came on, he watched and asked if he should get rid of his goatee. Did not seem to recognize how serious it was that he was a person of interest.
Well, because he's too pretty for prison. I truly believe he never thought that he would ever be convicted. I think that he thought he was one above the law and that he was too smart for investigators and he was too worthy to go to prison.
Exactly. Exactly. So,
So,
flirting with our
but that's interesting.
babysitter is the 8th
Oh,
reason,
sorry.
which we know about. Flirting with
Right.
our babysitter made flirtinis. Babysitter felt uncomfortable and left.
Yeah. I
He's
bet
like a
she did.
creep. If nothing else, he's a creep.
Right. That's what I was just going to say. Like, okay, I'm sure the babysitter knew his wife was missing. So
For
there's that.
serious,
And then
right?
here's this guy, like,
Hey,
here
Romeo,
this guy
thank
is
you.
hitting on you. Like, okay.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep. Okay, number 9. Jackie and Lee meaning Scott Peterson's parents, telling Ann that if asked about the babysitter incident, I should just deny it or not recall it, suggesting to me that they didn't want anybody opening that can of worms.
Right. Because they were enablers. They didn't want anything negative around him. They had yeah. It doesn't surprise me. I mean, Jackie made the excuse that she had given Scott that $15,000 that he was found with to help him pay for an attorney, is what she said in the documentary that he put out. And it's like, you guys can't even keep your own lies straight, because Janie said that he had that $15,000 cash because he was going to buy his brother's car. So it's like, even between the two of them, and I realize Jackie's no longer here, but still, like, go back and watch your own stuff before you start talking about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I know.
keep your
It's
lies
really
straight.
crazy to even ask that of this daughter that you're just getting to know. Think about it. It's really weird.
Yeah,
And Christine
exactly.
asks, Artist Lake, how old was the babysitter? I don't know. It doesn't state in the book, but it does not state that she was a minor either. So I'm assuming she was of age, because if she had been a minor, I'm assuming that would have been stated, because the sister
Right.
says everything else.
Keep tapping for us, guys. Let's get this pushed up the FYP. Let's get tons and tons of people in here. And this is an interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, this is a
Live
good one,
tonight.
guys. Keep sharing out the live. Keep doing all the things. We're down to a little over 80 people in the room, which is fine by me, but this is really good. There's a lot of, especially with the LA Innocence Project trying to take on this case, this is a lot of
Right.
information that the public needs to know. So definitely share the live out. Okay. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but this shocked me. The girl he got pregnant, meaning Scott, in Arizona. Was this the reason he left college? The girl ended the pregnancy. Then Scott came home. I'm
sure he probably put that pressure on her God, I hate to keep saying the same thing over and over again. It's always been about him and what he wants. And I'm sure he didn't want children. Um, I think he would have. Thank you, Kimberly. Welcome in, Kimberly. Thank you, sweetheart. I think he would have done, I think he would have eventually even found a way to get rid of Amber's daughter. Not necessarily unaliving her,
well,
but I
welcome
could
in,
see
Clovis.
him shipping her off to like boarding school or something like that, because I just don't think he liked children at all. And I don't think that it was anything against the children. I think it's because people give attention to children, and any attention the child's getting is attention Scott's not getting. And I think he
And I
resented them
agree.
and was jealous of them.
I agree. He definitely is. I
So,
mean, I can't diagnose anybody, but he definitely shows symptoms signs of narcissistic personality disorder. And I swear he's somehow
absolutely.
related to Chris Watson some way, because they just one reminds me of the other. Always have, always will.
Have you connected with Lacey before? Yes. I need to. Thank you. Thanks, Two Wins, for the gift. I need to clarify something real quick, Joe, if you don't mind.
Sure.
My psych in my name, Cold Case Psych, stands for psychologist, not for psychic. I get a lot of people asking me, like, if I've connected with Lacey or if I'm, when I first noticed I had the gift. I am very, very smart and I can read people very well. However, I am not a psychic. That stands for psychologist, but go ahead. I just want to throw that out there. Yes, Sandy, I'm going to do a live about Chris
Right,
Watts.
Christine? Yes.
Please just
He
keep
had a
tapping me.
pregnant. No,
It's okay,
Clovey.
Sasha.
This is Clovey. I'm sorry. This is we don't know if this was a girlfriend. I mean, the way he was always presented to us as the public through any documentary was that he was a very shy, quiet guy, that he didn't date around much, that, he didn't even realize Lacey liked him right away. He accidentally threw away her number when she put it on a napkin. Like, he made him always presented as being inexperienced, but that wasn't the case.
Me too, so Yorkie. Yorkie Kennels, I agree. Me too. Go ahead. Please just tap the screen for me, guys. If you're able to gift or help me reach my goals, do send the daily heart me, subscribe, like, follow, do all the things. And please follow my friend here, my co-host Jojo. She does true crime content also, and pop culture. So give her a follow. You'll love her stuff. We're talking about Blood Brother, the book written by Scott Peterson's half-sister.
And everybody in my room, please do the same for my friend CCP. She's great. I love working with her. I love exercising that amazing brain of hers. So that's why I wanted to bring this back up tonight when she was available, because she came in at the end of it last night. So, okay. Number 11. Scott often arrived in different cars. Was he switching cars to avoid being followed? What do you guys think? Yes or no?
I'm curious what the chat thinks. Hi, Belinda. Welcome in. Thanks, Kimberly, for my heart me.
Me too.
Thanks for the likes.
I'm sure he was, absolutely. Yeah, Clovey, I think the same way.
Sandy, no, I do not believe he will ever admit what he did. He's too invested now. Yes, of course, I'm getting in my chat. Joe, I think, I don't know. I mean, it could have been to avoid. Again, my mind always goes to the dark side. So I'm thinking, okay, who was he watching and whose house was he driving past in different vehicles that they wouldn't notice him?
Right.
More so than him trying to elude police or the press.
Oh, Clovey,
Right,
he denies dyeing his hair. Apparently, what he told his sister was he went skiing, and I read this in the book. He went skiing with a bunch of friends, which I wonder how many he had left after, everybody's accusing him of his wife being missing. But anywho, and he accidentally got the chlorine in his hair, and that's how his hair wound up that color. No,
I hate when that happens.
Who threw some ash blonde in there, and it turned red on you. That's what happened.
Exactly. I hate when that happens when I go skiing and my hair turns
Yep.
orange. You're so
Yes, he
full of
definitely
crap.
dyed his hair. Yeah, but that's what he told her. I think that's in here. Scott borrowing the shovel up at Lake Arrowhead. He said, I have a shovel I borrowed that I need to return. Is it possible he buried something? Or I
Probably.
thought, I
Go
know,
ahead.
right, Clovey? I'm approving that comment. That is laughable. I thought maybe the shovel could have been used if you were, back in the day, we didn't have those cement mixers, like when our dads would redo our patios and our stoops, and people used to do a lot by themselves and didn't have people like I would nowadays.
Right.
I thought maybe he was using the shovel to hand mix the cement he was making the anchors from.
That's a good idea. That's a possibility. Yeah.
That was my
Sure.
take on it.
Or he buried something, like if he unalived her, for example, at home, say by tying something around the top part of her body. Say it was a cord of some type. He could be burying something like that where it would
Right,
never be found, or
right.
something
Absolutely.
like that.
Absolutely. So I found that really super interesting.
Yeah. Oh.
Scott did not have money, according to Jackie, yet he purchased items from REI and North Face outlets while he was here. That's 13, which ties into 14, that he appeared uninterested in the search for Lacey. I brought up several ideas and leads from the news, but he had no direction or interest in them. I asked if there was anywhere anyone should be looking, and he brought out a map of Modesto. He pointed to Mapes Ranch, like he was annoyed with me. Maybe there, he said. So you have no money, and yet you're shopping for North Face is not cheap. REI, I don't know so much about, but North Face I know ain't cheap.
Thank you,
And
Kimberly.
you're out shopping and disinterested in your wife's search.
I think he was always disinterested
I
because he
think
knew
you
she
can,
wasn't coming
Christine.
back.
I think you can watch the hearing online on YouTube.
Yeah. He
I know,
knew she
Chloe.
wasn't coming back. He knew she wasn't coming back, so it probably did bore him. He didn't want to. But, he's not even smart, because if he was smart, he would have at least acted concerned and at least acted like he was participating, instead of, joking around, doing press things. Thank you, Kimberly.
Yep.
Thank you for the gifts. Thanks, everyone, for tapping.
Please, everyone, keep tapping on my end. If you're just joining the chat, we're talking about the book Blood Brother, which is written by Scott Peterson's half-sister, who you never hear about or see. And we wanted to bring some public awareness tonight to her perspective, because she has 33 reasons, and that's the title of the book, why she feels he's guilty. So super cocky and odd in interviews, very inauthentic. Absolutely, he didn't care because he knew. Absolutely, Clovey, I totally agree with you.
Yep, I agree too. I agree, Yorkie, too.
Okay. This is also very interesting. Okay, this is something that you may have not known, because I didn't know until I read this book. I saw the table from the People magazine photograph, and it looks like Scott set the table for Christmas Eve dinner. I have set a table with Lacey at a Latham family reunion, and she always sets the table correctly. The Christmas crackers are a finishing touch. Not the only thing you put on a table. There is also no tablecloth, and it looks like absolutely not up to Lacey's high standards of table setting, something she excelled at.
I agree with that. Hi, nurse. Thank you, by the way, for the Daily Heart Me. Yeah, because he was trying to. I don't think Lacey got a chance to do any of that stuff, so he was trying to throw together to make it appear that she.
Yes, Christine, you're right.
Sorry, Sandy said, "What makes Watts and Peterson different to you both?" Well, for one thing, Chris Watts at least admitted to it. Scott Peterson never will. I'm going to do a live on Chris Watts soon. I have not done one yet on him, but they're the same. They both wanted a different life, and instead of getting divorced like most people do in America, they both unalive their pregnant wives, and the only difference, like I said, to me, is Watts admitted to it, and Peterson never will. But
And
what's
yes,
people saying over in
Peterson
your chat?
is, Clovey, yes, Peterson is trying to get his case retried. The LA Innocence Project, which has nothing to do with the Federal Innocence Project, has taken on the case. And we're just on here tonight bringing, just some awareness, because I had to read this book. After watching both of the docuseries, both on Netflix and Peacock, I was like, what? I had to read this book. And this book really gave me a lot of clarity.
Amber has one out too. It's called Witness for the Prosecution. It's a good book.
Yes, and actually, I have pictures of Amber and Ann with Gloria Allred, because both Ann and Amber are represented by her, and they have worked together over the years, which I find extremely interesting.
Oh yeah, definitely. Now, wonder Gloria will come out with a book with all three of them now.
Yep. All right, so I'll tell you about. I won't go through the whole thing, but I'll tell you about the ones that are really weird. How much time do you have?
I'm good. I'm good for the night.
You're good for now? Okay. All right. So I'll keep going. Scott used an alias, Cal, short for California, a name he said that he and Lacey originally chose for Connor, to look at apartments for rent so that he didn't have to give his name. But that wasn't the name I heard they wanted. It was Connor. Weird, right?
I think, he's
bozo.
He probably figured no one would he wouldn't pass a background check with his name. I'm guessing. He couldn't pass a background check with his name.
No, I don't trust the Innocence Project. This is an LA-based Innocence Project. It's a new not-for-profit organization. And yes, they don't win everything that they take to trial. They claim they do, but they don't.
Yeah, and they're made up of lawyers, not the actual Innocent Project.
Right.
I had someone ask about that too. The Innocent Project is a joke for getting involved. It is not the same thing, Jeannie. It's they're copycatting their name, and the National Innocent Project actually came forward and issued a statement and said they are no part of us. They're not like a subunit of us. We have nothing at all to do with this. That's just they're using the same name.
No problem. Okay, so he left our house 2 to 3 times to go to Modesto to clean the pool and mow the lawn. He said he did not want the neighbors seeing the pool turning green. Did anyone check the pool for any evidence? She believes that he might have drowned Lacey.
That's an option too. I never thought about that, but that's a very good option. Especially because he had, the umbrellas was his excuse. He was taking the umbrellas to his shop. He could have someone just said, I haven't thought about that. Wins 777 just said that. Me either. I mean, but now it's like, wow. Yeah. That makes more sense to me than anything else.
Right?
Yep. Right.
Because there's no proof of an unaliving in the home.
Right.
And if he had done that, it would have been very easy to do at night in the dark. Nobody could see.
And he was mopping the floor, or claims Lacey was. Yeah. He claimed Lacey mopped the floor, remember? And he threw wet clothes in the washer that he said he had wore that morning fishing.
Correct.
That's true. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
Give me 1 second. Keep the chat going for a minute, guys. I gotta run and grab something real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Hang on, guys. Let's just pause for 1 second. I'm gonna take a quick drink here. Keep chatting, guys. Welcome in, Lynn. Co-host and I will be back shortly. We're just taking a quick break. Hey guys, please keep tapping the screen for both CCP and myself, whichever room you're in. Please feel free to share out the live. No problem, Clovey. Come on in, everybody. We've been holding steady at about 60 people. We had a lot more before, so please share out the live. This is great information that we're bringing to the public tonight regarding the Scott Peterson case. So hold on, guys. We're going to continue on in just a minute.
Sorry about that. It's like 850 degrees in my house. I had to turn my fan around and go grab the extension cord. So go ahead. I apologize.
No, I paused and just asked everybody to, I had to take a drink because we're talking a lot. So you got to stop in between and kind of, I have my iced tea next to me. So anyway, okay, let's go on to the next reason.
Okay. Keep tapping, guys. If you would, please push us up the FYP. Put FYP in the chat. Do all the things.
This next reason is going to freak a lot of people out.
Okay.
Okay. So in the book, Scott describes this story to Ann about how he and Lacey were away on a weekend in Mendocino, and they just happened to come across a cemetery that was all overgrown, weeded, leaves, you name it. It turns out to be a baby cemetery.
Oh.
And he tells her this story of how Lacey wanted to clean it up and plant flowers and all of these things. So she writes, chilling story about the overgrown cemetery in Mendocino, made up, possibly, on verge of confessing, looked like it.
Oh, I don't think he was anywhere near confessing. I think he was just trying to, again, appear like a great husband. And I completely could see Lacey wanting to do that, because she was that kind of person. But him, I don't know. I mean, he's so creepy. He's just so creepy. Thank you, Amber. Thank you.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
What do you think?
What's your tap on the screen? Please share out the live. Please feel free to send a Heart Me Team bracelets, all the things. I have a gift goal on the top. Also have a subscription plan, which is in the works, and it's going to be pretty great, I have to say, by the time my son and I are done with it. So stay tuned, guys. But please join, follow the host. Please feel free to join my team. Okay.
Everything she said.
So what is your chat thinking about that? Is it weird?
I'm getting a lot of just happened upon a cemetery. Yeah, apparently they just happened upon a cemetery, a baby cemetery. That was the only question in my chat about it. I think, like I said, I can completely see her doing that, taking that on as a little mission on the side, So, but him, surprised he even remembered it because he's so. Unless he was the point he was trying to make was what a great husband he is. He went with her or something.
Okay.
What do y'all think? Thank you, Kimberly.
Aw.
Thank you. Anybody in your chat saying?
Come on in. How are ya? Okay, number 20. Thanks, Jared.
Okay.
Which
Hi, Jared.
is unbelievable to me. 2 of Scott's cousins said he was investigated in connection with the disappearance of Kristen Smart, the girl from SLO. I don't know what SLO means, but she had been missing since 1996.
Kristen Smart is her last name? Smart? Pamela Smart.
Yep. Thanks, Christy.
That's not the one that... Thank you, Jared. Scott was investigated in that. She was found, Karen said. I don't know. I've never heard that before. Interesting. His plot just thickens. It's so sad that this man can still interest us. She was from New Hampshire, I believe. Zahara said. Thank you, Kimberly.
Yeah, I'm going to look her up. I've never heard about the case. I just haven't had a chance to yet.
Right. Wouldn't
But
surprise me because he's got this. I I've heard other stories like there was a girl that had disappeared or was unalived on the campus that he was at too, that he was questioned about. So it was Pam Smart, Zahara said, not Christian Smart. Okay. Yeah, he's very self-absorbed. I agree. It wouldn't surprise me. I don't believe that Lacey was his first rodeo. I mean, I do believe that and that's probably why he was so confident and cocky, thinking he would get away with it because he probably has already before. So,
definitely
sorry,
opens your eyes up to a lot of things, right? That you didn't know.
Right.
You know?
Sin City said SLO stands for St. Louis Obispo College.
Thank you. Yes.
So that must be the same, the college. Okay.
The college in Arizona. Yep. Okay. Cousin said somebody must have been helping Scott flee if there was all the stuff in the back of the car.
Well, his parents, obviously, like his mom said she gave him the $15,000 so he could hire a good lawyer if he got pulled over. And I think that he was spending money. So the fact that they were watching again, he had credit cards, he had driver's licenses, he had all kinds of stuff from other people's names. So I think he just bought what he wanted to disappear. Probably, I think the cabin that Ann's parents lived in would probably have been a good escape route for him, depending on when they were coming back. And he could have very easily went off the grid.
Yeah. 23. Despite what Jackie said on television about Scott and Lacey's perfect marriage, on 3 separate occasions before Lacey disappeared, she told me Scott and Lacey were having problems. Oops.
Well, probably. I mean, if he was having an affair with Amber all that time, months before Lacey disappeared, then I'm sure it caused problems in the marriage. I do not believe that she knew about it and was okay with it. But I mean, like, if she was preoccupied, for example, like with the baby shower and getting things ready for the baby, and him being so self-centered, went and found something on the side to, make himself feel better. He probably, I'm sure there was tension in the marriage. And, if he was staying out later, for example, and he had already cheated on Lacey once before, even if her hormones weren't all going crazy, which we all know they do when you're pregnant, but even if they weren't, just any normal situation, the woman would be like, you're cheating on me again, aren't you? Exactly. So I'm sure there was tension there.
Yep, absolutely. To everybody joining,
Just tapping the screen, guys.
Please follow your host. Please continue to tap the screen. Team bracelets and heart me's get me pushed up to the FYP. I do have a gift goal up there as well. Not necessary, but come on in, tap the screen, and enjoy the conversation because the public needs to know this information. So that's why I've joined my friend CCP, especially with Mr. Peterson trying to appeal his case yet again.
Right.
Okay, number 24. We're getting there. We're getting there.
We are. This is interesting.
Good, I'm glad. Scott claimed he'd had a delusion of speaking into the mirror at their house with Lacey. He said this after I had told him I had seen Sharon Rocha on the news saying she saw Lacey on their couch. Such visions are apparently brought on by extreme grief or extreme guilt, which was told to Ann by her own therapist.
Yeah, that is true. Guilt or grief. Obviously, Sharon's was grief and Scott's was guilt. That's my take on it.
Yep.
That's what, or he, again, if Sharon, if he was aware of what Sharon had experienced, trying to sell himself to Anne also is like, well, this also happened to me because I'm grieving. See how I'm grieving? You know, just using someone else's experiences to mimic, which is what people like him do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 25. Scott told me that he had another affair before Amber Fry, someone in SLO, and did not give a time when that one occurred. Also, he had slept with someone or two on an airplane flight. On that flight, he took turns between two airplane bathrooms. I have no idea when this occurred and did not ask any other details. Now that's disgusting.
So he's part of the Mile High Club twice, apparently. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think he chronically cheated on Lacey. I don't think Amber was by any means his first. Well, we already know Lacey said that he cheated on her in college. It's just sad to me because you could just tell by all of her pictures how gaga in love with him she was, and he was just a piece of crap. That, you know, horrible husband, horrible human being. So, and I believe that. I don't know that. I mean, I think Scott thinks he's a lot better looking than everybody else in the world thinks he is. I mean, I don't see him as, you know, snapping his fingers on an airplane getting two different women, but who knows? It could happen.
Yep,
He was charming. Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay. 26. In LA, gay relatives took Scott bar hopping, went to a gay bar. Scott said he was bummed that no one hit on him.
Of course he was, because it's all about him, and he's the most attractive person on the planet, and everyone should just swoon to him, male, female. That doesn't surprise me at all. Like, he's...
It's
what
like,
about you?
What do you say to this stuff? Like, it's like, wow. I mean, you know, we all knew he was a tool, but this is like, oh, God. This poor girl married someone who was so out of her league in a bad way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it makes me feel worse for the family. It really does.
Me too. And him just
unbelievable,
being so in love with himself. I'm sure living at home with him was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably one of those husbands that told her she was fat, and you know what I mean, and did all of the narcissistic, creepy things that people that are in love with themselves do to people to make themselves feel better.
Oh, hi, Jenny. Thanks for coming in. Please feel free to follow me. Hey, Pop. How are ya? Oh, Jenny says, I'm from Modesto. I 100% believe he did it. So do we.
Hi, Jenny.
Thanks for the follow, Jenny. We're actually talking about the book that his sister Ann Byrd wrote, 33 Reasons Why My Brother Scott Peterson is Guilty. Because with all of the docuseries coming out there, with the LA Innocence Project trying to get his case retried, I know I wanted to make sure the public had enough information as possible, and CCP and I shared our mission. You know, we share our mission in a lot of ways together, so I asked for her to come on, given her education and experience, to react to some of this and comment. So this has been a really great live so far, but welcome in everybody that's coming in. I appreciate you all.
Joe does true crime and pop culture, so she works on a lot of different cases. I'm school full-time and work full-time, so I try to get it in on my spare time. But thanks, Jana. Thank you.
Hey, Kimberly. Happy Sunday to you. Ashley, I believe he did it too. I know. Yes, I believe he's just trying to get out of jail. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I think he would even have a better chance to, you know, again, this is where I say he's not very smart, because if he was smart, he would play the sympathy card and admit to it. And then he could, if he admitted to it, and then it's just like, I made a horrible mistake, you know, I was so immature and self-centered, and I've grown as a human being now. He's still going to have them swoons of women sending him marriage proposals in prison, but I think it would just help him build credibility a little bit, but he just won't even go there. Like the new documentary proved that. He just, you know, because anybody, women especially, I mean, and I'm a woman, but it's the truth. People love someone who admits their faults and says they learned from their mistakes. I mean, women are the first ones to be forgiving and to be, you know, encouraging. And so I don't think it would hurt him, but he's just not that smart. Like the whole, like, Amber was a one night stand thing. I feel like just screaming at him, sister-in-law, Janie, you know, who do you think you're talking to? Like, we all know this story. We all heard the tapes. We all know who this man is. Don't, you know, he was not after a one-night stand with Amber. It's just ridiculous that they think we forget.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. So number 27, you're going to like this one.
Okay.
Every time there was a search in the bay, Scott's voice and reaction was more heightened, and he would say things like, they are wasting their time when they could be out looking for her. Time would be better spent looking for her somewhere else. He was louder and more emotional when they were looking in the bay. Now, let's not forget how many times Scott was seen and tracked because he had the GPS tracker on his car going to the bay.
He was worried about something, wasn't he? Yeah, I think if he could have talked them into going somewhere else, he would have. You know what I mean? I think it made him very, very uncomfortable. And we know that even from the audio tape. When Sharon left the voicemail saying, well, of course it wasn't her. And he's like, phew. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he was very concerned with what was going on there. Thank you, Jana. Thank you. Please keep tapping the screen for me, guys. It helps push us up the FYP.
Is that my Jana? Hey, Jana.
Follow, like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Yeah.
All right, we're getting there. Number 28, drinks at the blast. At the bar, Scott pulled Mexican pesos from his pocket. When Gordo, who was her friend, asked if he was going to Mexico sometime soon, Scott didn't respond.
Yeah, because I think that was the plan, and I think he'd already been there. He probably already had an apartment, if truth be known. He probably already had some kind of setup in Mexico, and then claiming that he wasn't going to Mexico. He was going golfing right by the border. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm sure he'd already been there. So that explains the money. Well, obviously he had already been there, but that didn't come out during the trial.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
Number 29. Oh, thank you so much, Twins. I appreciate you. That's so sweet. Dinner at the SD Yacht Club with some of my friends. At 9 p.m., I told Scott that we had to get going, and he said it was ridiculous, and who cares? I called home and said we would be late. Kept getting who cares attitude from Scott, and finally said we had to leave at about 10:30 or 11 p.m.
No, he didn't want to leave. He was probably getting attention from somebody at the bar. Or he was
trying to get attention from somebody at the bar.
Yeah, he was trying to get some attention from somebody at the bar because apparently, you know, being a parent, having responsibilities or whatever reason was that she wanted to leave.
Hey, Brooke, welcome in.
It probably didn't make him too happy because, again, it's all about him and his attention that he was getting or not getting or wanting.
Guys, if you
tapping the screen, guys,
follow True Crime Brooke. She's great. Brooke, follow my friend CCP over here. She'll follow you back. She does true crime too, and she does really great content.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in, Brooke. Okay. Number 30. I was the first to call and let him know that they found a body of a woman in the bay. He said they'll find out it's not Lacey and they will keep looking for her. When I said they'd found the body of a baby the day before, he said, "What? That's terrible. Who would do such a thing?" Seemed very disturbed and voice was loud and emotional again. So 30 and 31 tie together.
Because he probably thought, I don't know, it could have been anyone, the female, but when he heard about the baby, probably figured his goose was cooked and it was just a matter of time. Then it made it more real, because I do believe that he thinks he did a really good job of anchoring her so that she wouldn't be found. But he was also because he was a novice. He didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
As far as making anchors and stuff, he was nervous about it. So I guess it makes sense.
Yeah. Sure does to me too. Okay. 32. On April 17th, 2003, Scott stayed at my parents' house in San Diego. When I asked him why he didn't go to the Lake Arrowhead house, he said his car spun out. I don't believe he ever went there. I think he went straight to my parents' house because he thought the police knew about the Lake Arrowhead house. Try not.
Yeah. He knew. I mean, he had to have known at some point he was done. I think he was just either in complete denial because he thought he was so much smarter, but then he also worried about it, but not because of what he had done. Like, there was no guilt or anything about what he had done. It was that he didn't want to get caught and he didn't want his life disrupted. Mm-hmm. So I agree with that.
Yep. And number 33. On her last visit to Redwood, Scott waited till the end of the visit, that Redwood is the prison, and said, "You know I didn't unalive my wife." He couldn't look her in the eye and then checked for her reaction.
Well, yeah, because... Go ahead.
Okay. When all was said and done, the big one for me was the swimming pool. I kept thinking of Lacey slipping into the pool to take the weight off her aching back. It had become part of her routine, and I kept thinking of Scott in the shadows of the house watching her.
Yeah. Or he could have just jumped right in the pool. Or, you know, when she was getting out of the pool, surprised her. Or they could have, you know, I don't know. I think she found out. I think she found out that night that about Amber in one way or another. And either he came home late, went outside, she was in the pool, they got in a fight, whatever, he unalived her there. Or I don't necessarily think that he... I shouldn't say that, because I do believe it was premeditated, but I don't think that... I think he was just waiting for the perfect opportunity, and I do think that it was something that, okay, now I'm caught. No doubt about it. She's not going to put up with this. I'm going to be ruined, kind of thing. Like, I think he pushed that envelope, figuring, you know, that as long as she didn't know, she was safe, basically, but just in case. And I think he did buy the boat, you know, for that reason. And I do think that, again, I don't for 1 second believe that he told her and she was okay with it. It's like, come on. I would have said, okay, I told my wife and she lost her mind and beat the holy crap out of me. Or, you know what I mean? Make it more realistic. Don't sit there and go, yeah. That's about as stupid as him saying that there are different ways of losing people. When Amber said, "Why did you tell me you lost your wife before you lost your wife?"
Mm-hmm.
You know, his answers are just so ridiculous.
Yes. You know what, Ashley? I remember that, and I'll bring that forward while CCP's here. You think? Because what
Please
about
tap
the
the screen,
Martha
guys.
Stewart episode that morning that she was watching? But was she
What
watching it
about?
or was he? You don't know that. She was never able
Yeah,
to
we
tell
don't know.
us.
Yeah, we don't know that anything was on TV. He could have just
Hey,
watched,
Cindy, how are you?
Googled who was on, Martha Stewart this morning, or what was. Well, you could do that and find out what they were talking about, and him sitting there saying, "Oh, they were talking about lemon meringue." And well, you could have got that from Google.
I'm good. Good to see you back. Exactly.
Please tap the screen, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on the 33 reasons? Let's hear it. I don't know if my
So we're
chat is
discussing
stuck.
sending 33 Reasons. My brother, Scott Peterson, is guilty by Ann Byrd, and I just went over them with my friend CCP here because she is... Are you getting your doctorate or your master's in forensic? Isn't it your doctorate?
My doctors. Yeah, I have my master's already. I have a master's in criminology and a master's in forensic psych, and I'm getting my PhD in forensic psych.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, there's a
Maybe.
lot of reasons. Hi, Spring. How are you, honey? Thanks for stopping by. Hi, Rosalie. Welcome in.
Come on, guys.
So
What do you think?
guilty. Yes, he is, Kimberly. So what do you think of my research? Some pretty shocking stuff we didn't know, right?
Exactly. The pool thing is just blowing my mind because now I never even thought of that, and now that makes so much sense to me. I 100% believe that's what happened because it just makes sense, and all the emphasis on the umbrellas being laid down flat, like he was planning on what, closing the pool or what? And why was he so concerned with that? I'm curious why the police didn't. Well, they wouldn't. They didn't obviously forensically check the pool for chemical, you know what I mean? But they probably just looked in it and didn't see anything. So
Ascending, yes. Your daughter's studying forensics. She wants to give a voice to those who can no longer speak. Exactly. That's wonderful. So his
perfect.
sister says that he was planning this. Yes. This seems to be a premeditated thing. And both CCP and I always thought it was a premeditated thing, but this sealed the deal for me. And now thinking about the fact that there was a pool there that he kept cleaning out, very suspicious.
Yeah, why was he so concerned about that? That's just...
Yeah. Thank you, Rosalie.
Oh. All right, guys, tap the screen for me if you would. If you're new to the room, my name's Belinda. I'm a forensic psychologist, criminologist. This is my friend Jojo, who we were talking about Scott Peterson's half-sister's book, Blood Brother. Jo just finished reading the book, and she was giving us the 33 reasons why his sister Ann believes that he is guilty. So if you're new, please just tap the screen. If you're able to gift, send the daily heart me's or help me reach my goal.
Oh, sorry, Spring.
Follow my friend.
With me.
My dogs are all three driving me crazy right now. Quit.
You know what, Ascending? I don't think he could pull it off without some planning either, and he's not that bright. Yes, because he would have done a better job.
Right. Exactly. And, I mean, at least pretend to be a non-robot. You know what I mean? Like, get upset, be hysterical, take a class in crying, do something, like,
or just leave the person, like Ashley says, so sick.
Right.
Why don't men just leave? I just don't understand. Even like with Chris Watts, you fell in love with someone else. Okay, bye. You guys were having problems anyway. Bye. You didn't need to do what you did. You would have gotten money when they sold the house. I mean, there's just no reason for this. The same thing with Scott and Lacey. There's like no reason. It's true. That's where I find there's a difference between somebody with a mental illness and somebody who's truly evil. These two, they're
Right.
truly evil. There's no ifs, ands, or
Exactly.
buts about it.
There's so many other things they could have done. It was one, not wanting to look bad, and two, because society, looks at men that are leaving their pregnant wives like they're pieces of crap, because
Yeah.
they are. And they don't want to be looked at that way, and they don't want to pay child support. But again, I don't know why unaliving someone seems to be the easier route for these guys. It just doesn't make any sense. Like Chris Watts, his case was completely, his situation was completely premeditated. Like, he waited on her to come home. You know what I mean? And he could have left. He could have took those kids to his mom's or her mom's or something, went and visited his girlfriend, been back, and Shanann would have never known the difference.
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, I got one that you might be interested in, CCP. I know you're looking at this a lot. I got halfway through the first episode and was like, I don't know if I can watch this. Same as the Menendez brothers. They could have just walked away and they pew-pewed 14 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should spend the rest of his life
on the
in jail,
Menendez
Rosalie.
brothers. Yeah, I've done 2 lives on the Menendez brothers. It's interesting that the monster documentary is getting a lot of, like, Ryan Murphy's getting his butt handed to him, because after the documentary, Lyle and Eric both wrote, statements saying that it wasn't accurate and that it made them look bad. But honestly, I think Ryan Murphy did an excellent job of showing both sides. He showed from the parents' point of view and from the kids' point of view. And he kind of left it up to the viewer to decide. But
Yep.
I've even seen true crime people on here that are like, when that documentary first came out, they're like, oh, Ryan Murphy's Monsters is amazing and it's great, and then he did a great job. And then like a week later, when the public all went after him, the supporters of Eric and Lyle, basically, now these same true crime people are flipping and going, oh, well, it wasn't fair and it didn't show them in a good light. And I'm thinking, I just watched a video of yours 10 minutes ago where you said it was great. Like,
Yeah.
make up your mind. You can't just flip with a narrative. Like, just pick a side. So,
Exactly.
and
I
again, they
kind of
want a
like
new
the side
trial
of
too.
truth. I really
Me
think
too.
this guy is liar.
Yes.
So
He
we're going to have
doesn't.
to wait and see, everybody. We're going to have to wait and see what happens now. Have you heard anything about the DNA test? I've seen nothing in the news.
Nope. I know that the LA Innocence Project requested 13 items to be analyzed, and the judge allowed 1. And the judge said, we are not reanalyzing crap that we've already reanalyzed already analyzed without a good reason. Like, they wanted this mattress analyzed in the van, the orange van, and it had already been analyzed and there was no DNA on it, and it wasn't the red stuff everybody thought it was. Anyways, it was paint, and they wanted it reanalyzed, and the judge said, no, that's the forensics, is too expensive. We're not going to allow this. I will allow the duct tape. That's it. But I've not heard anything about any. I mean, it could take a year. Crime labs are not quick on things, not nearly like they are on TV, where they say, give me these results, double quick, and they do. They don't. I know there's like around a 2-year waiting time frame in Ohio for results, for things to come back from our crime lab locally. So I'm guessing it's going to be a while.
Gotcha. So I have some comments. The Ascending Lotus states, I don't think that he fell in love with anyone. That was a rouse. He was incredibly narcissistic. Agreed. Midnight Rider, didn't he lie to police and then spent all his money having a good time on parties? Parties sure did. And if you read Ann's book, she describes a lot about those parties. They're very interesting. Their family is oddly saying that they feel they've served enough time in prison. Oh, this is about the Menendez brothers. At midnight,
Yes.
Zero remorse, and his family tried to help him get away. They should have been there. That's for Scott. They should have been arrested. Yep. What about the people who said they saw her walking the dog?
Ugh.
I
We're
don't
gonna just beat this
know.
to
I
death.
mean,
All of those people have had either their time frames. There was two older women that saw a pregnant woman walking her dog, and they were mistaken on the time frame. So they were already like, those allegations were thrown out because they were wrong on the time. The other one described different clothing, so that one was thrown out. And then there was two that said they had seen a pregnant woman like 4 miles away walking in the park, and there was also a pregnant woman that lived 4 miles away and didn't have a dog. So all of those basically have just been discounted, all of those accusations from that, just like the robbery across the street. The both of those robbers they passed a polygraph. They were eliminated. They helped police. And then now Scott's family saying, well, those robbers called their robber friends, and the robber friends came over and did all this.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah, that's
Yes, ascending. The Peterson's crime scene was definitely compromised from the beginning. Absolutely. And again, we're just talking about the pool because I really, after reading this book, it makes total sense to me. Complete sense to me. I think that was the big takeaway for me. I wasn't surprised by the fact that, he was having affairs, like Amber wasn't the first one. Just knowing men who cheat, and that's what they do. Oh, thank you, Repo.
Please tap the screen for me, guys. Comment.
Yeah, guys, if you could please keep tapping the screen for me too, I'd appreciate it. Please share out the live.
Let me know what your thoughts are on the 33 things. My chat has not moved once in the last 10 minutes, so I'm wondering if something's going on here because TikTok's glitching again.
Oh, it wouldn't surprise me.
It's not moving at all. So please, somebody throw a comment down. Thank you, Antoinette, for the daily heart me.
How do you share a live? You just go down to the bottom where it says more, and then you click share.
Or you can tap on our faces. Whoever's live you're in, you can hold down my nose, like down where my nose is, and you should be able to share it from there too.
If you take your finger and just put it on my face, it comes up. You can share it that way too. Thanks, Ascending. I appreciate you. So yeah, I mean, that was a big takeaway for me. One of the sickest things that really disturbed me was the baby cemetery story.
Yeah.
I didn't sleep all that night.
Yeah, because...
Oh, great, Claymation. Awesome. I'm glad you ordered it. Let me know how you like it.
Can someone please throw something in my chat so that I know that it's working? Because it hasn't moved, and I don't want to be missing people's comments if TikTok's just being TikTok.
Oh, Ashley's coming over to you to help out.
All right. Thanks, Ashley.
People will speak lies because they want their 15 seconds in the spotlight. Yeah, Ascending, I get that, but this guy has been speaking for 20 years. Get out of the spotlight. Serve your sentence. You did it.
I just got a paper
These are all
crane.
allegations from me.
And it's not showing. Yeah. Yeah, I just got a paper crane gift and it's not showing in my chat either. No.
That's really strange.
I know nothing is moving, and it's good content and really interesting. I want my friends' perspectives on this, and I'm getting nothing. The last comment I have was from my friend Sin City that said, college gal unalived. Paul Flores was caught. That was about the college girl that he was questioned in. Remember the LM? You said you didn't know what that meant. That was the last comment I got in my chat.
Nurse with watercolor says, I was tapping and commenting on CCP Live. My friend says, hello, making dinner now. Ginny Collins, we are here. Let Cold Case Psych know we are commenting. Tell her people are commenting under her live. Everyone is saying they're there. We can see her comments. I can see you guys, no problem. On my
That is so weird. why it's not working on my.
Why don't you go into more and go into your settings and see if you accidentally shut something off?
I've got hear your voice, rankings, comment settings, allow comments, filter comments, entire live, block keywords is on nothing, and show the most sent recent comments are all the buttons are pushed.
Oh, they said to leave the live and come back in. Do you want me to disconnect you and then you come back in?
Yeah, let's try that. Oh, wait, no, I just got some. Wait.
Oh, okay.
Try going out, coming back in. Cup on your side. I can't see chat.
My husband came into your side. He said he can't see the chat.
Okay. Went to Jojo and told her we were commenting. Thanks to, and yeah, it was so weird. Like it's now I see them all.
Maybe TikTok's
chat is
having some
moving.
kind of delay with the internet. I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you guys. Anyone that gifted and I didn't catch you, thank you so much. Now it's back. Nurse said, yeah, that was so weird. TikTok hates me. I did 2 videos today and there was no sound. I ended up having to delete them and redo them again.
You know
I'm
what
just
it's
sitting
been
there
doing
going,
to me? It's not like, say I want to do a story. So you have to keep them to 10 minutes until you hit over that 10,000
Right.
mark. So it won't record for the 10 minutes. I'm like 60 seconds in, I'm still talking, and I realized they stopped recording. It's acting
did the
very
same
weird
thing, yeah.
lately.
It did the same thing to me today because I did 2. I did one on a the TikTok Unaliver movie. I just watched that today. That was really an interesting movie. And I did a little video about it for people that want to watch a movie and not necessarily a documentary. And then I did one for us that we were going live tonight. And both times I had it set on 10 minutes and at 60 seconds it cut off and I had no sound. So I'm going, and I was like,
People are like, what?
yeah. You see like this picture and I'm going, yeah.
I know, right?
I was like, TikTok. So I ended up deleting them and redoing them. But yeah, now it's back working fine. Thank you everyone for coming to my aid. And I'm so curious, like, did anybody learn anything new? I sure did. The pool, I'm just still, my mind. I watched that whole
You
trial.
know, that really flipped me out. I never even knew they had a pool.
Kimberly. Thank you, 2 wins. Yeah, it didn't even dawn on me. And I remember seeing the blue, umbrellas all laying on the ground. Not even dawning on me, swimming pool, perfect place to unalive someone that wouldn't leave a lot of forensics or wouldn't think, like I said, unless I'm sure the police didn't get in there, test the water or anything. Thank you, Yusuf. Thank you. They probably looked in. It looked fine. There was no red stuff or no, mobs of hair, globs of hair in there. So they probably just, like we did.
No ascending. Scott and Lacey had a pool as well. I didn't know it either. I didn't find it out until I read this book.
Yeah, that was
Thanks,
really,
Rosalie,
I remember
for keeping
seeing
the cat
it.
moving.
I remember seeing it. And why didn't I think of that? Like, oh. See, this is what I love about true crime. Like, things come back years later. How many years later? And I'm just now, and again, I thought I knew everything about Scott Peterson. Apparently
I
not.
know.
Things are
know.
Things are right in
I'm
front
glad
of
you
your
love
face
the
you don't
combo.
see.
We love having it. We're thinking that Lacey might have been drowned, Rosalie.
Yeah.
Based on the book I read.
Hi, Rosalie. Yeah. I just wonder why, like, the police never thought of that, too.
I know. I know. It's crazy, right? Sorry, that's my husband yelling at the dog. Otherwise, he'll try
That's
and
okay.
get
My
Star
3
on
are
the
over
live.
here driving me crazy. I think they want out.
Yeah, they're both
Or they just think.
driving me nuts.
Well,
Yeah.
I had 2, and then in my infinite wisdom, I got a puppy. So there's that.
Yep.
'Cause I don't have
Knock
near
my
enough to
hand
do.
out. That was him.
IG. This is it's called Blood Brothers. It was written by Scott Peterson's half sister, and it says it's called 33 Reasons My Brother Scott Peterson is Guilty. And he lived with her when Lacey had gone missing for a while before he was captured. He lived with her. And we just went over the 33 reasons. Joe just read this book and she went over the 33 reasons, and we're both kind of blown away because one of the reasons was brought up in this is their swimming pool. Like, why was their swimming pool never checked? But Scott, according to his sister-in-law or his half-sister, was very meticulous about making sure the pool was cleaned and the grass was mowed. So I just ordered this book on Amazon. I should actually have it tomorrow because I'm interested to read it too. But it is called Blood Brother by Ann. What's her last name? Byrd? Yes. Yeah. Ann Byrd. Byrd. So what do you guys think?
Like, when you look at like her picture, you'll see the resemblance between her and Scott. Like, I'll bring it up. Yeah, I have the book right in front of me.
She was given up for adoption by Scott's mom, and then she found them.
How can I get it in the camera?
Oh, a little bit. Yep, I see it. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Huh. Does sound like a good book, Kimberly. I agree.
It's a lot like him. It was also wintertime, so there was no connection of the dots with the police. Yeah, that's true, Ascending. That's
what did she say?
I'm thinking, like, it was wintertime. Why would they go looking
true.
at the pool? Yeah, she does look like him. Yeah, you could definitely tell.
But it was in California, though. It's not like here in the winter in Ohio where, they didn't have snow. And if this was part of her ritual, according to Anne, that she went and got in the pool to help her back and probably her swelled feet, it would help all of that stuff. Yeah. But again, so what out of the 33 things, Joe, let me ask you, would I have another Jojo 316 in my chat. We're talking about Ann Byrd.
Jojo 316.
Scott Peterson's half-sister wrote a book called Blood Brothers, and Jojo, my friend here, talking with Jojo, read it, and she listed 33 things, 33 reasons why she believes that her brother is guilty. So we were just talking.
I don't know if it was an in-ground pool, Rosalie. I have no idea. I just know we had to keep. It was an in-ground pool. Okay.
Yeah, I remember seeing the pictures.
Okay.
I remember seeing the pictures again, but in the pictures they were focused on the umbrellas laying there, and they kept talking about how he had said he was taking the umbrellas to his shop, but they were still laying there on the on his deck or the cement pad around his pool. That's the only reason I remember, because I'm like everybody else. I just kind of the pool just went right past my brain and I focused on the umbrellas. So aside from the graveyard, you were trying
to ask me a question, right?
Yes. Aside from the graveyard, what surprised you the most, or what blew your mind, or what made you stop and think out of the 33 things, or what did anything really surprise you?
What surprised me was, and it didn't surprise me that this was his behavior. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Benny, please. It doesn't surprise me that this was his behavior. Thank you for the heart me. Look, Benny shows up, I get a heart me. What surprised me was how blatant he was about it in front of his sister. Like, to hit on the babysitter, to go bring certain alcoholic beverages to the house to make drinks, to make flirtinis. The fact that he had that much nerve to do that in front of his sister, knowing the situation he was in, I found that very disturbing. I don't know if I would say shocking or disturbing, but the most shocking thing for me was the possibility of the pool. I never thought of it.
Yeah.
And it makes so much sense.
Alexis, this book is called 33 Reasons My Brother Scott Peterson is Guilty. It was written by his half-sister, Ann Byrd. My co-host here tonight, is Talking with Jojo is her name. Please follow her. She does true crime and pop culture
Thank you,
content.
Lexi, for the roses.
And she just finished this book, and we were talking about the 33 reasons his half sister put in this book. He had actually lived with her for a while after Lacey went missing, before he was captured. And the possibility of the pool is that none of us ever even thought about the fact that he unalived her in that pool, and that would make sense too, because everybody just kind of assumed it was by choking method in the house. But we were just sitting here going, wow, I didn't even think about the pool, because they put so much emphasis on the umbrellas that
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, I never thought. Oh, I got another comment coming in the chat. Exactly.
thanks to everyone for tapping. Please keep tapping,
Yes,
liking,
yes,
sharing,
everybody's same here.
subscribing, gifting, doing all the things.
I appreciate
Helps push us up the
everybody.
FYP. I'm trying to get 2 more subscribers. If y'all are subscribers, just 2 more, and then my people can gift subscriptions. I need 2 more.
How many
So
do you
I
have?
had 2.
How many do you have?
I have 8, I believe, and I have 6.
Because I have 7.
2
What
dropped
do you
off.
need? Like, you need like 10
You
or
need-
8?
You need 10 so people can 10 subscriptions, and they can subscribe to each other. And then one of my subscribers said, I want to start gifting subscriptions to your channel just to pull people in. You know what I mean? He said, I'll gift people like 20 of them if they just, once you get to that point. So I've been trying to get to that point, but
Yep, gotcha. I agree, Ascending. He probably thought that since
When-
he wasn't arrested immediately that he was free. I totally agree.
yeah. When 2Win777 said nothing shocked me about his behavior in the book, but just confirmed how narcissistic he is. Exactly. Yeah, he loved himself. He still loves himself. Like, if you noticed in the documentary of his on Peacock, he was like getting real close to the camera, and he was trying to be flirty and appealing with his greaseball head and his. He just did not. Oh, I think he looked awful. He did not age well at all. Sorry, Scott, but it's true.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Nurse, thank you, Kimberly. Nurse just said, yeah, he's not aging well. No. And then, I don't know, did you guys notice like how greasy he looked? Like he hadn't bathed and wearing a baseball hat, and his hair's all crazy under. Ugh.
I know.
don't know. Hey, Kay.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's just fun. I think the pool blew me away. The behavior, definitely not. Thank you, Kimberly. The behavior, definitely not. He's 100 years from now. I don't see him confessing and taking responsibility. And he's just he thinks that he's so good. He could, just fool people. I truly believe that he thought he was going to fool that jury. He thought he was fooling Amber, and who knows who else he was out there messing around with.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I agree, Loveman.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more.
He's not going to ever confess, but I truly believe he was messing around with his sister-in-law. She to me acts like a woman in love. And again, I'm the most obsessive person. Like I said earlier when I came on, you weren't on yet, but I said, I understand getting obsessed. Like, I'm obsessed with what happened to my cousin 19 years ago. I understand, like, to still keep fighting for things. Mm-hmm. But what bothers me is that his own brother, who she's married to, is never in any interviews, is never there by her side, is never going, cheering her on.
I agree. I think it's very suspicious. And I want to know why none of them have tried to counteract anything your sister Ann has said. This book's been out since 2005. There's nothing about it in the documentary. Lacey's documentary, I can understand why there isn't, because, she was on their side. There's not really much more for her to add there, except her theory about the whole pool thing. But
Luke,
Scott's
no, she was
documentary,
not.
they don't
Yeah,
defend or discount anything that the other sister said in her book. Nothing. It's weird.
right. Luke, no, his sister, his half sister wrote this book. We
Hmm.
were talking about his sister-in-law is married to his brother. Is that Janie Peterson that's on like the Scott Peterson is innocent Facebook page, and she's always the one that's interviewed. She was in the documentary. That Janie Peterson is married to Scott's brother, and I said it's always bothered me why his brother's not, by her side. And again, I understand people. Some people are just camera shy, or some people don't like to be in the limelight, and that could be the case. But
Yeah.
you would think he would still be there with her. You know what I mean? Or like handing pictures, or instead of it, it's just always her by herself, and he's nowhere around, and that's just bizarre to me.
Somebody did say something that he had spoken at some point, but it hadn't been for quite a few years. So, and he wasn't in the documentary. So he's kind of like MIA. And I'm kind of wondering why he's MIA, unless he thinks my wife's got it, or maybe they're not together anymore. I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen anything tangible, but his last
Me either.
interview supporting Scott was quite a while ago.
Right. And even in court, she sat directly behind him, and the brother sat like way off by the parents. It was just strange. Yeah, his sister-in-law did go to law school to become a lawyer to help him with the case, but they'll never allow that. Like in a court of law, they're not going to. That's an extreme conflict of interest for her to represent him in court. They'll never allow that. She could help with his case behind the scenes,
Which
but
I think she's
I'm surprised old Scotty hasn't. I'm surprised he hasn't, wanted to be his own lawyer, because he's so much smarter than everybody else.
It's going to be his own attorney.
Yeah. They say those who become their own attorneys have a fool for a client, and they say that for a reason. Like there's no, you don't want to do that. Look at Ted Bundy.
Yeah, I would never recommend anybody do that,
No.
And I know a lot about laws and regulatory compliance and public policy because that's my degree, but my education.
Yeah.
But, would I want to go into a court? I probably could defend myself in a court of law. I don't have that level of expertise that a lawyer would.
Right.
So I'd probably lose.
Yeah, Twinkle Twinkle, no, it is not the actual Innocent Project. It is the LA Innocence Project, which is no affiliation with the National Innocence Project that everyone knows of. The National Innocence Project came forward and said, hey, we're no part of this. They're not an off branch or anything. The LA Innocence Project is just a group of lawyers. Sandy said, I agree with you. She and him definitely had something going on. There's just something.
It is suspicious. It really is.
Yeah.
And you were the one that really cued me into it. And then I started going back and watching, and I'm like, yeah, I see where she's, yeah.
Yeah.
It never really hit
Something
me
really
before. And I'm like, oh, somebody's got a mad crush on somebody.
Sure seems that way. He's innocent. Well, what about this, and this? Yeah, but he's innocent. I love him.
Or
He's
think
innocent.
about like all the women that send these two knuckleheads, Peterson and Watts, all of these letters proposing marriage. Like,
Yep.
what is wrong with you people? Really?
You got kicked out?
You're
I'm
the
sorry, Deb.
livers. I would never go near
Deb said-
somebody like that.
Deb said she just got kicked out of my live. I don't know why, but I'm sorry. Yeah. I think since the dawn of time, we've been trying to understand as psychologists, like what draws women to that. A lot of times it's the, they feel it gives them 15 minutes of importance. Like they feel important if they write a serial on a liver, for example, or
Yeah.
Scott Peterson and Chris Watts and they get written back to, you know, that's like very, and usually it's a lot of lonely women, women that want to be fixers. You know, I can fix him. I can make him a good human, you know, bad boy. Yeah, exactly. Two wins bad boy, you know.
It's just
But come
unbelievable
on.
to me. You know, it's just like, oh, even like, did you ever watch the Stephen Avery case? Making a
I know my first name is Steven. Yeah.
Stephen Avery
That
case.
one,
The Netflix
yeah, the
series
Stephen.
making a I can't say it out loud.
Yes.
Making an unaliver, I should say.
Yes. Yes.
Like even
Somebody
that,
wanted me
like
to
he's
do
got
that.
more women that want to marry him and stuff when he comes out, and I'm like, what is going on?
I know.
Go
The
on a dating
Menendez
website,
brothers,
find
yes, they're both
somebody that's
married.
like not in prison. Maybe?
Please keep tapping for me, guys. Yeah. Well, we have a joke at we, as part of my at the mental health agency I work at. Thank you, Buffer. Thank you for the Daily Heart Me. The we also have a homeless shelter, and one of our rules, obviously, is you can't date clients in any way. And so there was a couple of years ago, one of the staff got fired for dating a client. And I said, well, you know, when I'm looking for a man, thank you for the Daily Heart Me 2 wins.
No, thank you, Buffy.
I'm always looking.
Appreciate you.
I'm always looking for someone that is unemployed, living in a homeless shelter, has addiction issues, and has felony charges for DA, you know, against them. I mean, and these women are drawn to these kind of people. And that's like our joke at work. They're like, well, what kind of, you know, well, of course I'm always looking for someone like that, you know, unemployed and living in a shelter. People are drawn to crazy. There's so many cases where men, and it is more so, well, obviously, because I mean, even Eileen Warhus had marriage proposals while she was in there, and I have a high bar, Belinda. Yes, thanks, nurse. I know. Right? Like that's always what you're looking for in the perfect guy. I think there's just an overwhelming desire to fix people or to, you know, well, he'll love me more. I'll make him love me, and then he won't unalive women. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what that.
Oh, thanks.
As spouses, they qualify. Oh, that's Lori said. As spouses, they qualify for state assistance. Well, there you go. There's a little bit of motivation, but I do think a lot of it is the attention to that, you know, they can say, well,
because I mean, there's one thing to be, it's like your Gypsy Rose Blanchard. You could be infamous or infamous, famous or
right.
infamous. She's infamous.
Yes. There's no value in themselves. I saw that many times. Yeah. There's, hey, Brain, how you doing? Welcome
I'm
in.
Flamingo. We're talking about the book I read. It's called 33 Reasons My Brother Scott Peterson is Guilty by Ann Byrd, who's his half sister. So that's what we spent almost the last 2 hours talking about.
Yep. Please keep tapping, guys. It pushes us up with the FYP. We got like 32,000 taps up there. 60 some people in the room.
Yeah, I got a good amount too. I got like 50. 23.4. Please keep tapping the screen for me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Twinkle, that the men look for. That's kind of why it's not allowed in my profession, obviously, because it's considered taking advantage of a vulnerable population. Like that's why. That's just what the standard rule is. Like, you can't date a client because that's taking advantage of a vulnerable population. Because whatever reason they're there for, you're supposed to be helping them. The manipulation part would be more of like, I don't know. Like, if you watch the documentary on the Menendez brothers, like, Eric's wife said, and Lyle's girlfriend, the one that ended up doing the tell-all book, that said that, well, the one that had all the tapes of him, I think her name was Nikki. Kimberly, you're such an awesome person. Thank you so much. She said that she just was watching the trial and felt compelled to write to him because she felt sorry for him, never thinking that he would write back to her. And she said that she wrote in the letter, you know, I know you don't know me. You know, and I'm sure you get thousands of letters a day, but I just wanted you to know that you look so sad when you were testifying, and I believe you. And he started writing back to her, and he ended up marrying this woman. Eric did. So, and then Lyle, of course, opened his mouth and bragged about fooling the jury with his tears on the stand and pretty much buried himself.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I got to finish watching it. I just started watching it, and both of them creep me out, and they always have. Yeah, I had a hard time watching the trial because they're just so creepy to me that I'm kind of like, and the actors that are playing them have the creepiness down pat, and I'm like, darn, did they have to be as creepy as they were?
It's good. And there's definitely harder episodes to watch, but I promise you, once you get through, like if you force yourself through it, at the end, I think, again, it shows both sides so that you're left there going, okay, I'm going to make up my own opinion. You know, this is how I feel. And this is, thank you, Zahara. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. That much I liked about it, because it doesn't try to shove one opinion down your throat and say, this is the, like, 48 Hours last night was talking about the brothers. Really? I missed that. Sure, I'll look it up, but I go down that rabbit hole where I'm like, I'll just say, like, into my TV, Menendez brothers, and 47 things pop up, and then I just go through one after another, watching them. I gotta quit doing that. Then I'm up till like 4:30 in the morning, wondering why I'm tired all the time.
I hear
Because it does give different opinions.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna get going.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna jump off here too. I got homework to do and then work again tomorrow. So thank you, my co-host, and for coming in and giving your take. I'm really interested. I can't wait to get the book and read it. And
read it, and then we'll reconvene and see whatever I didn't tell you, if you thought it was even worse than what I picked out. I just picked out the stuff that I thought was the absolute worst, but there is more in there.
Thank you guys for the chats and the gifts and all of that, and for coming in and liking the live, and I appreciate it. And then you watch the Menendez thing and let me know what you think at the end, and we can collab on that too.
You got it. Will do.
All right. Everybody have a great night. I'll see you later, Joe. Thanks.
See you later. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for everybody that came into the room. Thanks for liking the live. Thanks for gifting, subscribing, sharing. I will be back very, very soon. You're all amazing. And at Talking at Jojo, like I say, I pride myself on giving you guys what's really going on. So, talk to y'all again. I'll be live again very shortly. Not tonight, though. Bye, everybody.